I feel like people are always trying to figure out what's the next thing that they're going to do in their lives, or how they're going to like build out their calendar. So there's a very practical sense of like strategic clarity of like, tell people we're closed in 2 weeks, right? Or tell people we're doing this event a month from now so they have time to plan it. But I think maybe at core, what churches are trying to get at, and maybe what builds health, is having a sense of like vision of what this church is about.
In our church, the clarity is defined on the people that come in and help. So all of the people that not only come to the church to sit in the pews, they also lend a hand.
A church that's unified in its mission and its call to action, a church that moves together and knows where it needs to serve.
Strategic clarity to me is a strong message, and I believe it's important to the Christian community because it gives a sense of solid direction.
Moving forward into our future with that in mind, I think church is constantly changing, and it's important that we move with the times, but while also remaining firm and being like a Bible-based believing church.
There's an assumption that everyone understands what this church is about the way that the leadership team understands it, or the way that like admin at the top understands it. And the reality is like people are kind of just living their lives. And so if you don't reiterate the vision, or if you don't give people different angles to kind of grasp onto what you're doing, everyone will feel a sense of ownership of what's happening. And so I think good vision gets repeated and it gets ingrained, right? And it becomes part of people's lives and the value system that they're operating out of.
Strategic clarity to me is knowing that our church is having our best interests at heart and making sure they have that known. And I think that with like my church as well, like I feel like they always have like our best interests and make sure that we feel comfortable. And I feel like that's our biggest mission as a church, which is to grow as a community and not just like have a connection here at church, but also transcend it to like different environments and committees outside the church.
Maybe a sign that your church is struggling with clarity is that feeling of drift, of like, we don't really know what we're doing or why we're doing it, but we know that we're doing something, right? And it's just like, you just kind of show up from one Saturday to the next, or from one life group to the next. And it's kind of like we're all there, but we don't have a story behind why we're here, right? Or what is the thing that we feel like God is calling us to.
I think if there's no sense of direction, if people don't know why they're there, what their purpose is, that's an indication of that.
I think it's when you feel out of place at church, or when you feel that you're not as welcome. And I feel like it's just when you have a disconnect between like yourself and in the church, you feel like you're not amplified as yourself, but you feel some sort of like tension between you and the church.
I think looking at your congregation and your members and taking note of how they feel when they leave the church. Do they feel spiritually fulfilled? Do they feel like they belong there?
The mission is actually creating the clarity for us, or at least giving something for us to focus on. So, I mean, yeah, I think strategic clarity is important.